God, my brother.
There's no other way one can say, but this is a calculated attempt to decimate the Catholic population and to instill fear in them so that they can really drop their faith. But thank God they are holding fast.
In the shadow of oppression, North Korea, Somalia, Yemen, Eritrea, Libya, Nigeria, Pakistan, Iran, Sudan, and India emerge as some of the toughest places for Christians. Today, as religious freedom continues to dwindle, the persecution of Christians has surged to its highest point in 3 decades. The global stage witnesses a distressing reality, with believers facing unprecedented challenges in these regions.
2,000 years later, unfortunately, we see that the persecution continues.
Since the age of the apostles, Christians have endured persecution from opposing factions. In various corners of the world, Christians still grapple with existential threats emanating from both governmental bodies and other entities.
There are still those, and there are many of them, who suffer and die to bear witness to Jesus. Just as there are those who are penalized at various levels for the fact of acting in a way consistent with the gospel.
According to a recent report from the watchdog group Open Doors, over half of the global population resides in a country grappling with severe religious persecution, whether from governmental authorities or other entities.
The persecution of Christians, is a real situation. In fact, Nigeria counts as one of the highest places where Christians are persecuted in the whole world. And it's daily. Last Christmas in Jos, many Christians, Catholics included, were persecuted and massacred on the eve of Christmas. And just yesterday also I read about some other massacre in the same place, Jos. So that's a very terrible thing that is happening, where there's always the issue of, Fulani herdsmen, Boko Haram, unknown gunmen, and a lot of, actors, violent actors that are really targeting Christians.
In Nigeria, ethnic and religious conflicts have turned the nation into one of the most perilous zones for Christians globally. During the Christmas weekend, a horrifying terrorist attack in the Nigerian state of Plateau claimed the lives of almost 200 Christians.
So it's a real bad situation, and I must say that we are really facing that, terrible situation of persecution in the country, which really requires urgent intervention, not only from the government in place, but we also call on the international community that this situation cannot continue to go on. Otherwise, it will really lead to some other violent situation.
As in previous years, the latest edition of the annual World Watch List, released this week by Open Doors, reaffirms North Korea's standing as the most hostile environment for Christians on a global scale.
But when I actually discovered my faith in God, and this was then I was realizing, wow, the system North Korea used, the biblical system, to take out the word of God, and replace it with Kim. So they have a Trinity system inside North Korea. So leader, party, state. And they also have 10 ideological principles. Each sentence emphasizes, give absolute love, loyalty, devotion to the Kim family. And that is paraphrased from 10 Commandments. And they have every Friday criticism session to criticize one another, even you haven't done anything wrong, say you haven't given enough loyalty and time to the Kim family. So it is the same structure as Christians and believers. We go to church and we confess to God.
In North Korea, Christians face severe restrictions on their freedom of worship, with the grim consequences of labor camps or death awaiting those caught practicing their faith. In 2023, North Korea heightened its border controls with the People's Republic of China, further complicating the plight of Christians seeking refuge from persecution.
They would have been able to build this kind of almost perfect prison society and system. It is because they used the biblical structures. And so there is a huge spiritual battle. However, there are underground Christians.
As of 2022, Pope Francis has reiterated his willingness to visit North Korea, emphasizing that he awaits an official invitation from the authorities.
I stand with the Christian communities experiencing discrimination. and I encourage them to persevere in charity towards all, peacefully striving for justice and religious freedom.